going on, everybody? In today's tutorial we're going to be going over 0G, which also can be called floor plane, which is when the beads are spinning side to side facing the floor. Alright, so the interesting thing about floor plane, or 0G as I'm going to call it for the rest of the tutorial, is that if you pay attention to the direction the beads are spinning, right? This is called palm down. My palm is facing the floor. So if we see the beads are spinning in this leftward direction, and if I were to do a roll, it would go over my index finger and climb up my hand. But if we flip to palm up, we can see that the bead's actually spinning in the direction where if I were to do a roll, it would go down over my middle finger. So this opens up a lot of possibilities between palm up and palm down play, where you can climb up and down your hand by keeping the momentum going in the same direction, but changing the orientation of your hand from palm up to palm down to change how you can do tricks. So the first thing we're going to go over is palm down 0G weaves. So if you can do regular weaves, then it shouldn't be that much of a leap to translate that into 0G. You may need to tilt your wrist up a bit more to avoid hitting the bead off of the back of your hand, but the basic motion for the 0G weave is the same. You want to keep your palm down and kind of bounce the bead, cradle the bead up and down. Tuck your fingers in it when it's going under, extend your fingers when it's going over the top. So for the palm up 0G weave, it's going to be the opposite. You're going to tuck your fingers in when it's coming over the top and extend your fingers when it's going over the bottom. So the key here is to get very comfortable being able to just do your 0G weaves palm up or palm down, pretty much however long you can go, without hitting the bead off your wrist. So now that we know our palm up and palm down weaves, it's time to link them. So the method for going in between palm up and palm down weaves are basically, if you start in a palm down weave, as your fingers are extended and the bead is flying over the top of your hand, you want to switch to the orientation as if the bead is going to be flying over the top of your palm up. Right, so with palm up weaves, we have our fingers tucked in and the beads flying over the top of our hand. And with palm down weaves, as it's coming over the back of our hand, it's fingers extended. So it's a kind of combined motion. And the same thing goes for going down. As your fingers are extended in palm up, you're going to tuck and twist. That's kind of the name of the game here, tuck and twist at the right time. And this is kind of a knacky thing. I'll put a slow-mo clip here to make it a bit more so you can follow it. Alright, so now that you can do 0G palm up and palm down weaves and transfer between them, we're ready to start incorporating some tricks. So earlier I had said that with palm down going in this direction, you can climb up your finger, and going palm up going in this direction, you can climb down your finger. So we're going to actually start with a 2-finger roll going up and down our hand with the same direction orientation. So you're going to start in low grip palm down. And you're going to do some 0G weaves, and you're going to do a 0G 2-finger roll. And the key to this is to sort of so the key to doing the palm down 2-finger roll, going up your fingers from low grip to the index and middle grip, is to try to, well, first you have to be very comfortable doing your 2-finger rolls in bike plane. And then when we're going to transition into 0G, it's an exaggerated hand motion side to side, but it's also a little bit of a pull upward. And it's just going to take a decent amount of time for you to get the feeling of it down. But then once you do your palm down 2-finger roll and you land an index and middle grip, you're going to transition into palm up. And this is much less difficult because you don't have to worry about the beads just flying out of or flopping down to the ground, because you don't have to sort of toss it. If it starts falling, it's going to fall into your fingers, rather just fall straight to the ground. So this is your first tricks in this plane. So the same concepts can be applied to 1-finger rolls. I find it easiest to do this with the middle finger. So if we start in palm down mid grip, we do a middle roll and catch in index and middle grip, transition to palm up and do your middle roll down, and then transition to palm down. You can go back and forth. It's very difficult, but with some practice, you can get it nice and clean. Alright, so the next 0G trick I'm going to go over is whirls. So whirls are a fairly difficult, fairly complicated trick to do in bike plane, but it's a fairly simple process to transition that into 0G, mainly because of the middle part where you are holding the bead in fakie. It's difficult to drop the bead. It's difficult to drop your set because in this position you can pretty much control your beads without having to worry about them dropping. So basically you just go into palm down 0G and transition past the bead as if you're doing a whirl like this, and then from here you just go into index and middle grip as if you're just doing a whirl in bike plane. If you're very comfortable doing whirls in bike plane, this should not be very difficult for you to do at all. It's quite intuitive. So from here, doing a whirl down is going to be a little bit more complicated because we have to start palm up but end palm down. So keeping this momentum going the same way, we're going to transition into palm up and pass the bead into mid fakie, and then from here going to twist your wrist along with that fakie weave that is an integral part of the downward whirl. And once you're 0G, you want to transition the bead from fakie mid to regular low. So in full speed it's going to look like, whoops, it's going to look like this. It's a little sloppy. Let's get it better. Like that, for the most part. So now to link those two together, when you do the downward whirl from index and middle grip to low grip, you can see once you transition from the palm up, go into fakie mid, and then get down to regular low grip, your beads are already moving in the direction to do a upward whirl palm down. So it's just a matter of the timing to link them together, and then when you get up to index and middle grip, you can continue the passing, and you can essentially do an infinite whirl in 0G, since you can manipulate between palm up and palm down. And then another quick combo is an upward whirl, come palm up, 2-finger roll, and then you can have sort of a repeatable combo, transitioning between palm up and palm down, that climbs up and down your hand. One more quick thing worth mentioning is a 0G bead roll. This bead roll, to be exact, the one that goes like this. That can be incorporated into the 0G upward whirl combo. So you upward whirl in 0G palm down, and then once you're in index and middle grip, you can do the bead roll underneath your hand, and then sort of do the whirl above your hand and link them together for an infinite whirl up, bead roll down combo in 0G.